Oil changes look straightforward: drain, refill, drive away. But here's what most people don't realize. More engines die from what happens after the oil change than during it. A single overlooked step, one forgotten detail, and you're grinding metal without knowing it. No noise at first, no dashboard warnings, just silent damage building with every mile. This isn't rare. It happens in driveways and quick lube shops every single day. So before your next oil change becomes a ticking time bomb, I'm walking you through 9 critical mistakes people make right after changing oil, plus a bonus at the end that catches almost everyone. Mistake number 9, the stacked gasket trap. Pull off an old oil filter and you'd think you're done with it. Except for one sneaky problem. That rubber seal doesn't always come off with the filter. Sometimes it sticks to the engine block. Quiet. Invisible if you're not looking. So you grab the new filter, thread it on, tighten it down, and walk away feeling accomplished. What you just did? Stacked 2 gaskets on top of each other. And doubled gaskets don't seal. They leak. Starts as a few drops under the car. Becomes a stream. Keep driving and you'll watch oil pressure drop to 0 before you even realize what's happening. By then, bearings are already scoring and your engine's starving itself dry. The protection move takes 5 seconds. Before installing the new filter, wipe the mounting surface clean with a rag, then run your finger around the entire sealing surface. Feel for that old gasket. If it's there, peel it off. 5 seconds of checking versus $2,800 for a seized engine. Your call. But double gaskets aren't the only trap hiding in plain sight. The next one starts before you even touch the drain plug. Mistake number 8, the cold drain mistake. Most people crawl under a cold engine, crack the drain plug, and watch oil trickle out. Slow, thick, dark. They think that's normal. It's not. That's the problem. Cold oil moves like molasses. It clings to every surface inside your engine. Valve covers, cylinder walls, oil passages. When you drain a cold, maybe half the dirty oil actually leaves. The rest just sits there, waiting to contaminate the fresh stuff you're about to pour in. So, what's the point of new oil if the old sludge never escapes? The smarter move takes 5 minutes. Fire up the engine. Let it idle until it reaches normal operating temperature. Not long, just enough to get oil flowing freely, then drain it. You'll see the difference immediately. The stream pours faster, cleaner, and carries way more contamination out with it. Warm oil drains completely. Cold oil leaves deposits behind. Some people skip this to save time, but those 5 minutes mean the difference between a real oil change and just topping off dirty oil with clean. And speaking of contamination, the next mistake floods your engine from the inside out. Mistake number 7, the too much oil problem. There's this weird belief that extra oil equals extra protection. Like adding insurance. More cushion for the engine, right? Dead wrong. Overfill your engine and you're setting up a chain reaction that kills faster than running low. Here's what happens. Your crankshaft spins thousands of times per minute inside the oil pan. When oil level sits too high, the spinning crank starts whipping through it. Turn liquid oil into froth. And frothy oil can't lubricate anything. So even though your dipstick says full, your bearings are running dry. Pressure spikes, seals blow, gaskets weep. Oil starts showing up where it shouldn't, valve covers, PCV system, all over your driveway. The prevention method. Pour slowly. Check constantly. Fill to the upper mark on the dipstick, never past it. And here's the detail most people miss. Park on flat ground before checking. Even a slight slope throws off your reading by a full quart. Engines are built for precision. Too little oil starves them. Too much drowns them just as fast. Both mistakes cost $1,900 to $4,200 in repairs. What comes next catches people right after they think they're finished. Mistake number 6, skipping the recheck. You drain the oil, install the filter, pour in 5 fresh quarts. Dipstick looks perfect. Job done, right? Not even close. That reading you just checked? It's a lie. Here's why. When you pour oil into a cold engine, it sits in the pan, but the filter's still bone dry. The oil passages are empty. Everything's waiting to fill up. Start the engine and let it run for 60 seconds. Now, shut it off. Wait 2 minutes for oil to settle back down. Check the dipstick again. Watch it drop. Sometimes half a quart, sometimes more. That's because your new filter just soaked up oil you thought was protecting the engine. If you drive away without rechecking, you're running low from the first mile. This recheck also exposes leaks fast. Loose drain plug? You'll see it pooling before you back out. Double gasket? Oil pressure warning hits while you're still in the driveway instead of 3 miles down the highway. 2 minutes of your time. Prevents a $3,400 tow bill and possible engine damage. And if you think filling the engine is where mistakes end, the next one happens before oil even circulates. Mistake number 5, the dry filter start. Brand new filter comes out of the box completely empty. Hollow, waiting to be filled. But most people just thread it on dry and fire up the engine immediately. Here's the damage that causes. The second you turn the key, your oil pump screams to life trying to push oil everywhere. But that filter, still empty, takes 3, maybe 4 seconds to fill. During those seconds, your engine's running with 0 oil pressure, bearings scraping, camshaft spinning dry, pistons slapping cylinder walls with nothing between them but hope. One time won't kill it. But do this at every oil change for 5 years? You just shaved 80,000 miles off your engine's life without hearing a single noise. The prevention takes 30 seconds. Before installing the filter, pour clean oil into it, not full, just enough to saturate the filter media. Then dip your finger in oil and coat the rubber gasket. Now when you start the engine, pressure builds instantly. No dry running, no metal-on-metal contact, just immediate protection. And speaking of that rubber gasket, ignoring it creates the next silent failure point. Mistake number 4, the unlubed seal failure. That rubber O-ring on your oil filter looks tough, but it's the weakest link in your entire oil system if you install it wrong. Screw on a dry filter and that rubber gasket grabs the mounting surface with friction. As you tighten, it stretches, twists, sometimes tears without you feeling it. Right now, it holds. Engine starts fine, no leaks. You drive away thinking everything's perfect. But once that engine hits operating temperature and oil pressure climbs to 60 psi, that microscopic tear opens up. Oil starts weeping, dripping. By the time you notice the puddle, you've lost a quart. The fix takes 2 seconds. Before threading on the filter, dip your finger in fresh oil. Wipe it around the entire O-ring. That thin film lets the gasket slide into place without twisting or binding. Bonus benefit? Next oil change, that filter spins off smoothly instead of bonding to the block like it's welded on. And while you're there, wipe the mounting surface clean. Even a grain of dirt between the gasket and block creates a leak path that'll haunt you for weeks. But if you think installation technique is the only place people go wrong, what happens next involves the drain plug. Mistake number 3, the over-torque trap. After an oil change, people grab a wrench and crank that drain plug like they're opening a pickle jar. Tighter must be safer, right? Wrong. You just damage threads you can't see. Drain plugs don't seal from being tight. They seal from the crush washer doing its job. When you over-tighten, you stretch aluminum threads in the pan, crack the washer, and sometimes snap the bolt clean off inside the hole. Now you're drilling out a stuck bolt and re-tapping threads. Or worse, replacing the entire oil pan. That's $650 to $100 for a repair that started with too much muscle. The correct method? Hand tighten until the washer makes contact. Then add 1/4 turn with a wrench. That's it. Most drain plugs need only 25 to 30 foot-pounds of torque, not gorilla strength. If you don't own a torque or wrench, use this rule. Snug, not strained. Tighten until you feel resistance, then stop. And watch for slow leaks after you've over-tightened in the past. Damaged threads hold for a while, then suddenly give out when you're 50 miles from home. But even a perfect drain plug can't save you if you pour the wrong stuff in the engine. Mistake number 2, the wrong grade disaster. Walk into any auto parts store and you'll see 30 different oil bottles. All look similar. So people grab whatever's on sale and call it good. That's how engines die quietly. Every engine's designed for a specific viscosity. 5W30, 0W20, 10W40. Those numbers aren't suggestions, they're requirements. Pour in oil that's too thick and your engine struggles during cold starts. Bearings don't get oil fast enough. Wear accelerates. Use oil that's too thin and it breaks down under heat, leaving metal parts grinding with no protection. Modern turbocharged engines make this mistake even more dangerous. They're built for synthetic oils with specific additives that handle extreme temperatures and tight clearances. Run conventional oil and you'll cook that turbo in under 40,000 miles. Replacement, $1,800 to $2,900. The protection is simple. Open your owner's manual. Find the oil specification page, use exactly what it says. Full synthetic, blend, or conventional. Right grade, right certification. And buy from known retailers only. Counterfeit oil is real. It's being sold online right now. If a deal looks suspicious, it probably is. But even perfect oil can't help if you ignore what your car's screaming at you. Mistake number 1. Ignoring the reminder light. Modern cars track everything. Engine temperature, driving load, how hard you accelerate, how long you idle. When that oil life monitor hits 0 and the light comes on, it's not making a suggestion. It's giving you a deadline. But here's what most drivers do. See the light, keep driving, figure they'll handle it next week, next month, whenever. Meanwhile, your oil's breaking down. Additives are gone, sludge is forming, and you're carving grooves into bearings that should last 200,000 miles. Worse, newer cars record every skipped service in the ECU. When you trade it in, the dealer plugs in a scanner and sees your entire maintenance history. Skipped oil changes, your resale value just dropped $100 to $200 to $2,000 instantly. The move is simple. When the light says it's time, it's time. Not next week, not when it's convenient. Now change the oil, reset the monitor properly using the correct procedure for your make and model. Your engine gets the protection it needs and your service history stays clean. Because that dashboard isn't nagging you, it's trying to save your engine from yourself. And here's that bonus tip we promised at the beginning. Most people finish the oil change, fire up the engine, and immediately throw it in gear. Seems normal. But you're making one final mistake. Fresh oil needs time to circulate. When you first start, the pump's pushing oil through empty passages, filling the filter, reaching every bearing and valve. That takes 30 to 45 seconds. Shift into drive too early, and parts are still running semi-dry during those first critical moments. Not bone dry, but not fully protected either. The smart move? Start the engine. Let it idle for 1 full minute before touching the shifter. Gives oil time to reach everywhere it needs to be and stabilize pressure completely. 1 minute of patience prevents a lifetime of accelerated wear. That's 10 mistakes that destroy engines after oil changes. Now you know exactly what to avoid. 10 mistakes that kill engines faster than bad oil ever could. Which one surprised you most? Drop it in the comments. Your experience might save someone from a $4,000 repair.